I think we've all come across romance in one way or another within our favorite shonen series. And I believe the way I handle it in my series Apple Black will hopefully be one that sets it apart from literally every other shonen series out there. I do be seeing some of y'all shipping some of my characters, which is always fun to see.
And I'm also disregarding this tweet by the creator. It doesn't exist.
Please guys, if you're enjoying this video and this drawing, don't forget to like the video, subscribe and hit the bell so you stay notified each time I upload absolutely anything. These help the channel a great deal. And switching it up here, doing a little Procreate. Maybe I might have some Procreate tutorials on the channel at some point. I'm still very new with it, so give me some time. Starting out with a little drawing here of Sano and Opal under a tree. Kind of weird. Picture saying 1,000 words, even though it's just a simple sketch. A lot of y'all have fun with this image. So much so I get some questions about Lily, because if you start out the series of Apple Black, especially in chapter 1, some people ship Sano with Lily, and then some people eventually start to ship Sano with Opal. Such a ladies' man. I do want to have more complex relationships in Apple Black, so there will be some that will feel, either like a triangle or triangular in some way, squarish even maybe. I do want them to be complex in that way, but also from an emotional standpoint, from a goal standpoint. I want it to feel more Western, which it is, given that I'm not Japanese. And I also want relationships that are kind of acknowledged. We even come across characters here and there, even in the villain side, where they're definitely a couple. And then maybe they'll even go through what couples go through. The goal will be to do it in organic ways and ways that don't overpower the primary genre at hand, which is a shonen action-adventure series, not necessarily a romance, but with some romance in it. That can definitely be used to keep things interesting, fresh, dynamic, and power the story onwards. A lot of time in shonen series, especially the mainstream ones, the relationships are maybe hinted at, maybe teased, but usually it's the fans that fill in the blanks. And then usually, maybe after a time skip, all of a sudden they're married with kids or something of thereabout. And personally, I just feel that sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes that can be lost. Now, it's still understandable. You don't have to do it, especially if that's not what the genre is. You don't want to overpower maybe what the original message of the series is, what the principles and morals are. You don't want to overpower the primary and secondary genre of whatever this is, if it is not romance. You gotta remember why people are there in the first place, and you don't want to betray that. However, I think, especially with the Western ideology and the Western way I'm coming into this, even though I'm inspired a lot by Japan and the way Japan makes comics and that Japanese way of making comics, I am not Japanese. And so there will be a lot more Western elements, but again, not enough to where it overpowers even on my end as well. However, I do think in acknowledging some of these relationships in more straightforward ways, there is fun there that I think not too many other series explore. Within the relationships here, you have your love-hate relationships, some things that are fun, tried and true, tested, while at the same time, I don't want to dip my toe in too many tropes. But you have some of the fun stuff, and I think tapping into that well in certain ways can be very interesting, get you guys talking, and more importantly, be interesting pushing the story forward without overpowering anything, keeping it fun, relatable, complex, maybe multiple relationships happening at once, hopefully emotional and not feeling forced or dragged out, real, and staying away from too many tropes, keeping things fresh. One of the other things that I'm going to do, this is what I am going to do, beyond all of this, is have some that you will not see coming, and I don't mean, the pairs. I mean stories that end up tragic, like romantic stories that end up dark even, like dark tragic, not just regular tragic. Because I live to bring tears to your eyes. Let the Niagara fall from your eyeballs. Especially for a character like Sano, who, when we first meet, he's completely socially awkward given that he's been isolated all his life, so he doesn't really know how to talk to girls.
Is this what Angelo meant by in good hands? Mikhail doesn't seem nice, and everyone is so terrifying. Definitely can't get any worse.
Hello there.
What's this? I've never been this close to a female before, except for Madame Naomi, but that doesn't count. What am I supposed to say? My heart is beating so fast. What kind of sorcery is this? She's so scary. Females are too powerful.
I didn't know you two were boyfriend and girlfriend already.
I've always wanted more friends, but girlfriend? What does that mean? I consider her a friend, and she's a girl, so... Oh, I get it. Yes, Opal Watmore is my girlfriend.
Oh my, you move quick. Sano, you sly devil, you.
And both of you guys are my boyfriends.
Pipe down, you cringy pipsqueak! You wanna die? We're barely acquaintances. And besides... Ryuzaki doesn't swing that way, buddy!
I'm sorry. Doesn't buddy mean friend? I'm lost and confused.
Yeah? Well, I'm not!
And I think it's also fun to explore that just from a comedic standpoint. And then it's one of the traits that he has, I think, that people find endearing, relatable, maybe to some guys, or people in general. And to see him grow from that standpoint as well will be awesome. I think a lot of the things that we like in characters that we do end up liking is to see that growth starting from level 0 to wherever they end up. And if they don't grow, you know, the whys and the situations that happen and all of that, it's always fun to explore it in nice, fun, organic, and interesting ways. So for those who are familiar with my characters, my original characters of Apple Black, and you've read volume 1, 2, 3, 4 will be out in November, do not miss the first season, which is essentially Apple Black 1 to 4. But for those of you guys who are familiar, who do you ship and why? I'll be going through all of that in the comments. Do all the engagement stuff. Shout out to the 2.5 people that made it to the end of this video. Please watch the next video here where everybody thinks the character is hot, and or get the volumes of Apple Black. SHONEN Manga, and I'm Audi 9000.